So my name is Vanessa Veselka, and I have played guitar since I was probably about 15. In my time in Seattle, I was in a band called Bell, and in a band with Steve Moriarty called the Pinkos. Playing guitar and singing was uncomfortably personal from the very beginning. First times that I've had shows was when I was like 15 and 16. Imagine hearing an angry vocal 16-year-old talking about how they think about things really, and particularly without like distortion and like, oh, you know what I mean? Like it was like, you're gonna hear it and you're gonna hear it right here and it's gonna be too sexual and too uncomfortable and too this. When I was growing up on guitar, they were like, no women guitarists. And people would say to me then, that's not true. And they would name the same 10 female guitarists, including every genre. There's Charo, you know, there's Joan Armatrading, there's Joni Mitchell, there's Bonnie Raitt, there's that chick from Heart. I was 24 years old before I met a female guitarist who could play like I did. I'd never met a woman who played guitar seriously. It was always like, and there's all this pressure when you're singing from very early on. I felt it like, oh, you've got such a great voice. Why don't you let the boys play the guitar? You can strum along, but you just sing. The pressure is to like, you just sing, we'll take care of all the rest of it. So there was no space for a woman to make mistakes on guitar. I remember going to this party when I was 18 years old in Long Island, and it was one of the last of the big metal studio parties from the original sort of period of bad hair metal. But I was going towards the amp to plug in, and this guy sort of slides in front of me, and he leans against the amp, and he goes, so which guitarist are you with? And I was like, I just bumped him away. I was just like plugged in. I was like, I said, I'm not with anybody. Which guitarist are you with? It was a very difficult time to be a musician in the mid-90s in Seattle. Stuff was going on all around you. So many bands were breaking, and you had to just keep your chin up and keep working. When a 14-year-old boy suddenly like stops bathing and goes into his room with his electric, you know, with his Charvel or whatever he's got going on, and like listens to records and like, you know, eats Doritos for the next 3 years, people don't try to put him in counseling. They don't assume that there's a problem that he's not dating. They don't immediately try to get psychological support for him. They don't ask if he's suicidal. They don't try to get him out of the room. That social pressure to do that as soon as a girl retreats is so strong, and that the artistic pressure, the artistic self comes out of that solitude. It comes out of that bold and great delusion that you can do something great, which you can only have kind of first alone. And for girls, it's interrupted over and over and over. It's challenged, it's mythologized, you know, and so they don't get the time. So when people say, well, why aren't there, I mean, it's better now, but when people will say, why aren't there women guitarists who play like Steve Vai or whatever the hell, and, you know, they have as an ideal, it's like, well, you gotta let them be alone in their rooms for 3 or 4 years without like calling mental health services.